In the top right section of the IPF details page is the results section for the instrumented protective function. So the results section gives you an overview of the results of the various calculations that are performed in Vertigo to determine whether or not a safety instrumented function has achieved its Sil targets and other performance metrics associated with the safety integrity level or the safety instrumented function. First off, you'll see a set of lights, red and green, for the different attributes of the Sil. The most important one is the achieved Sil. Did you achieve your Sil target considering all of the attributes, including both the probability of failure on demand and the hardware fault tolerance? The next button over, or the next light over, is did you achieve your risk reduction factor target, your probability of failure on demand target, and that is going to be irrespective of the hardware fault tolerance. And then the last light is did you achieve your hardware fault tolerance irrespective of what you achieved with regards to the probability of failure on demand. In this case, for this particular function, the Sil was not achieved, the risk reduction factor was not achieved, but the required hardware fault tolerance was achieved. Okay, so those are the red lights and green lights kind of giving you status. What you're looking for a complete Sil verification is green lights across the board, obviously. Below that is going to be a table of the actual achievements and the results of the calculation. So the first one is the achieved Sil with respect to the probability of failure on demand. So all that this looks at is what was the PFD that was achieved in comparison with the normal Sil ranges as defined in the IEC 61511 standard. And in this case, this safety function does achieve Sil 2 with regard to the probability of failure on demand because the risk reduction factor is over 100. 100 to 1000 is the range for Sil 2. So it does achieve Sil 2. Just looking at the PFD or the risk reduction factor. The next two rows are the probability of failure on demand, and then its inverse or 1 over the PFD is the risk reduction factor. In this case, that's 132. The next row down is the max Sil approved for use, and the max Sil approved is going to be a combination of what was achieved with regards to the probability of failure on demand and what was achieved with regards to the hardware fault tolerance. So in this case, the hardware fault tolerance that was achieved allows Sil 2, as does the risk reduction factor. So the maximum Sil that this safety instrumented function can be used in its current design is safety integrity level 2. And that goes part and parcel with the row below it, which is what is the fault tolerance, or was the minimum required fault tolerance achieved? In this case, the answer was yes. Now, fault tolerance is going to require a little bit more discussion because there are different ways that fault tolerance can be calculated. There are rules for determining required minimum fault tolerance in IEC 61511 and in IEC 61508. The rules in 61508 are a little bit more difficult to apply. They require a little bit more information, but they're the most flexible. Furthermore, the rules in IEC 61511 have changed between the 2004 version and the 2011 version. So if you want to make a decision as to what type of fault tolerance rules you're going to be using, let me go ahead and cancel out of this page and bring you to the study settings page. In the study settings page, the fault tolerance calculation mode is one of the first settings that you can select. So you can either select the 2003 version of IEC 61511 or the 2016 version of IEC 61511 as the mode of calculation for your minimum fault tolerance requirements. Since we're of that time frame, let's just go ahead and select 2016. And then we'll go back into the Sil verification or the IPF details section. Okay, so that is the hardware fault tolerance. So in this case, the hardware fault tolerance was achieved. And then you're going to get an overall mean time to fail spurious number and an overall dangerous undetected failure rate number. These are all things that are calculated in Vertigo for every safety instrumented function, and the overall results for the entire SIF are shown in this section of the IPF details page.